Hello, good evening, and welcome to an off-track semi-final special. This Saturday at Kings Lynn, 24 drivers will race to claim a position on the World Final grid at Bradford in September. We've got the top 5 together tonight to have a chat about this incredibly important race. Starting inside pole is 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. Evening, Frankie, you all right?
Yeah, good evening. Yep, all good, sir.
Frank, each year there's a real sense of anticipation around which semi-final the top point scorer will choose. Tom chose Skegness, meaning you ended up at Kings Lynn. Were you surprised by his choice, and are you happier with the Shale semi-final?
To be honest, everybody was nailed on that Tom was going to go to Kings Lynn. Nobody actually really knows why he's gone to Skegness. Obviously, when you look down the grids, his sister would have been at Skegness. His teammate Luke would have been at Skegness, who only does tarmac. So it was kind of, everybody presumed he was going to just pick Kings Lynn, because obviously shale form's blistering. You know, tarmac form, he's all right, but he's, you know what I mean, he's faster on shale than anybody else. So why would you pick tarmac? There's obviously a reason which nobody knows yet. We will all find out, I would imagine. But so yeah, he did throw a little bit of a curveball in, really. But obviously, you know, a semi-final's a semi-final, innit? I don't know how many I've done now. You know what I mean? We're there or thereabouts. So I only need to be in top 2 or 3 to make an impact at odds. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned at Northampton that you'd been quite frustrated with your shale car's performance this year. You'd made some changes. Were you happy with it at Northampton?
Would you have been happy with them results at Northampton? I certainly wasn't. But no, we totally we had to mess about and go a little bit different. You know, the track actually surprised me a bit at the weekend. The track was good at the weekend. I wasn't expecting much from the weekend, to be honest. I just wanted to play with the car a little bit. The track was good. They'd done a lot of work on it, and it was good. So we sort of missed it a little bit, really. But yeah, no, we know where we're going with it, where we're at. So yeah.
Cheers, thank you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go get any more tyres. Stay there. Starting alongside Frank on the front row is number 16, Matt Newsom. Evening, Matt.
How are you? All right?
Yeah, good, thank you. Matt, I know from our previous conversations that you're obviously happy with the Kings Lynn semi-final, but it always feels to me that the outside front row is a really vulnerable kind of place to start a race like this.
Yeah, it's probably not the best place to be starting, which that's probably my own fault, really. I didn't have the best of Bradford's, which was one of the last qualifying rounds, and didn't score no points. And that obviously gave Frank the opportunity to pass me and take the inside. But it's one of them. What it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, I've got to get into the position and get in the race and get going.
Yeah. So at Northampton, you raced your normal shell car. You have got a Billy Tom O'Connor car kind of sat there. Which one are you doing this weekend? Have you made a decision yet?
You'll have to wait and find out, won't you?
Well, yes.
Yeah. I think everyone knows I'm probably going to use my own. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with the Billy Tom car, but there's nothing like in your own car, and I know it better, and I know what it does. It's more predictable. So yeah, I will be in that, raring to go. You know, trying, like Frank says, really, top 3 is what matters. So that's what we're aiming for.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you. Starting on the second row is 212 Danny Wayman. Danny, a great season so far, and it's, I guess, rewarded by probably the favoured starting position in a semi-final race on that inside second row. I'm not going to ask you to give your game plan away, but I just wondered if you'd remembered that Frank held you up at Sheffield in the final a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if that...
Yeah, I remembered that, don't worry, and I'm sure Matt remembers it as well.
But you don't forget.
Do you think that'll play into your mind when you start in the race on Saturday?
No, it's a totally different race. You just got to get to the finish in these semi-finals and make sure you, like you say, in the top 3 round Bradford, I think, is the only place you want to start. I think starting in the middle of the pack, you're just going to be in trouble straight away.
Yeah. In a season of, I guess, lots of new cars, your refurb dual surface car has probably been the one that's been most talked about. And I know we spoke at the beginning of the season, but you must be pleased with how you've gone in it so far this year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very pleased with the car on both surfaces, and it's comfortable to drive, and that's what's better, I think. Michelle's car was very hard to do consistent laps with, whereas this car I can do them consistently, and I'm always somewhere near the front at the end, which is good.
Brilliant. Cheers, Danny. Starting alongside you on the second row is 166 Bobby Griffin. Bobby, good evening. Right. I guess 2019, you were one of the standout performers on Shale, and this year you've sort of struggled a little bit. I know you said at Northampton you'd made a few changes before that meeting. Are you happy with your Shale performance kind of after that weekend, do you think?
Again, what Frank said, really. I was unlucky with punches and different bits and bobs. And the European, of course, won out in front of me, but it's stock cars, isn't it? You just got to keep your chin up and go back next week. Would you keep trying different things, keep changing stuff, and see where we get? Again, top 3 would be nice, but I just want to get in it. I feel that I can make an impact if I'm in it, no matter where I am. So we'll just go for that and gain experience again. So
considering Shale's not been great for you this year, would you have preferred Skegness? I mean, the one good thing about Kings Lynn though is there's no grass on the middle.
Yeah, that's right. Again, I don't really mind. I prefer Shale. I do like Shale. I enjoy it. I enjoy tarmac as well. But I'm not really fussed. I just like to be racing. Whatever.
Cheers, Bobby. Thank you. And the final driver kind of to introduce is number 5, Charlie Sorda. Charlie, it's your second semi-final. Your first ever one was at Sheffield, and I guess that really was a meeting when people kind of sat up and took notice of you as a driver. The semi-final itself wasn't great, but the rest of the meeting was pretty epic for you.
Yeah, that was probably my starting point on Shale, really, at that meeting. Obviously, managed to win the final. Didn't really get the start I wanted in the semi. Obviously, that was the aim to go there, was just to get a top 10. I didn't even plan to do the rest of the meeting. It was only because Sophie and Guy Parker said, do the rest of the meeting. I only did it. So, yeah, that sort of got me going, and then I've gone from there, really, just progressed, really.
Lovely. And you are starting quite high up the grid. Is it a bit daunting when you look at the names that are around you?
I suppose when you think about it, yeah, but at the end of the day, they're just another driver sort of thing. So you just got to try and get your head down and not sort of think about those sort of stuff and just keep going.
Good. Brilliant. Thank you. Right. So now we've introduced you all. There's, I guess, some group questions. Frank, you kind of missed out before, and we're talking about Love Island. There's no Love Island questions in this part of the interview. You're all right. But after our WhatsApp group messages the other day, not been tempted to dip in and have a look what we've been talking about?
I have not got a clue what the shite is. I ain't got time. So obviously, if I want to get car ready for the weekend, then no, I won't be watching it.
Okay, right. We'll move on. No Love Island stuff then. We'll move on. I guess two rules, if you like, for this bit. So firstly, please answer the question, because otherwise it's just me talking into silence. And secondly, don't talk over each other, because then Jordan will have lots of editing to do and he'll get really cross and angry, and we don't want Jordan to get cross and angry. So talking about the semi-finals, they tend to go one of two ways. We either get a big sort of push on the first bend, resulting in a pile-up, or the race settles down quite quickly and drivers don't really change places. What do you think this one will go like on Saturday?
I personally think it's going to be very, very quiet and nobody's going to push anything. That's exactly what's going to happen.
That's what I'm looking from Charlie.
I can't promise you anything.
Hey, listen, semi-finals. The Shale semi-finals tend to start a bit tentatively because obviously they're going to water the track. Drivers want to settle down and get going, obviously. If they never won on the first corner, I mean, back in the day when Kev Smith did all that at Hartlepool, yes, that was virtually one on the first corner, but we're not on time, not at Hartlepool. So I think there's a lot of places up for grabs, and I think drivers are very sensible in the fact that they want to race and qualify in the race. Plus the fact at Kings Lynn, you get around the wall, 9 times out of 10 you come off it faster than the car putting you in there. So you're still going to be there or thereabouts, and they're going to get rattled back in. So, it's an out-and-out race and see who's there, isn't it?
Does anybody disagree with Frank? Does anybody kind of think, actually, that's not what I think will happen?
No,
I think he's about right.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to get around the first corner, haven't you? That's what it's about. So.
Unless Mal Brown gives us a good shove, then that's about it.
Well,
possible. Again, Mal Brown, he's there or thereabouts to be in top 4 or 5. I'll tell you now on Shale. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's track's big, track's good. As long as the weather's right, it should be a bloody good race, hopefully.
Brilliant. So you've led me on to my next question then. So obviously we're talking to you guys, sort of top 5 qualifiers on the grid. But is there any other people on the track that you think could spring a surprise in the race? You mentioned Mal Brown, but there's quite a lot of quality drivers starting further behind you.
Paul Harrison.
Yeah, Rubber's a long way down, isn't he?
Yeah, I expect him and Gilbank to come through quite well.
Yeah, Mark will be up there, I would have thought, at the end, yeah. And again, they're going to be working hard, you know, from the back to get through. So there's going to be a lot of way through, I would have said. So, yeah.
You've got Sam Brigg, Frank. He's starting at the back. He gave you a good run for your money at Bradford.
Who was that, sorry?
The white top you buried, Frank. You know that white top you put nearly over the fence?
I don't ever remember putting a white top in the fence.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Or Briggy?
Yeah.
The one that I caught and then he ran away and left me for dead. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Not exactly white top, is he? But hey, listen, he'll be thereabouts. The pace he had at Odsall and Sheffield, he'll be in there as well, won't he? You know, forget the fact if he is a white top or whatever roof he is, you know what I mean? He's a bloody good driver in the twos. Everybody's seen that. So, yeah, no, he'll be battling to get through.
I think there was one that stood out for me looking on the grid in preparation for tonight was Finn Sargent is on a great run of form at the minute, starting sort of 5th row.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. He'll be there.
Yeah.
You like that, Max, in one of your cars, isn't he?
Did I build that car?
Yeah.
Now, Finn will be there. We race against Finn all the time, and we all understand that Finn, he'll be happy sitting there watching us lot in a bit of action, thinking that if it all goes wrong, he's there to pick up the pieces. And yeah, I expect Finn to qualify, you know, in a decent position.
Yeah. Anybody else think anybody else is going to play a part in the race? Some of pussycats will past.
Might look grid, to be fair, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need to know, Bob. You just know who's in front of you, and that's it. You'll be all right.
Just need to know the ones I'm passing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deal with them as you can. That's all you do. The end of the day, faced with 24 cars in it, you deal with whoever's there, and that's how it is. You know what I mean? There might be faster cars coming through that get to me and Matt and whatever, Danny. So you know what I mean? You just don't really know.
Okay. So you mentioned that the way they water the track at Kings Lynn. So when I've kind of watched races, drivers tend to go up against the fence to find that grip. Do you think that will benefit the likes of Bobby and Matt in that opening lap where, you know, the grip is there and they can potentially get into the lead?
Yeah, very possibly. You know what I mean? There's a fast line around the outside also at Kings. It depends where he actually waters it. But obviously, we're watching that.
Depends on weather, don't it?
He does it brilliant. Always does. So you know what I mean. It'll be fairly even, I would have thought. So
It's also going to depend what race the semi is. If the semi's first race, then it's not going to be at the top.
no, it's not. It's like about 4th or 5th race in or something.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I think there's 2 F1 races and 2 F2 races first. He said.
So based on that, then, where is it better to start on the inside or the outside then? If you kind of 5th race in, or does it not really matter?
I think it makes a lot of difference. Obviously, you know what I mean. Starting pole, you get choice of where the green flag goes. Is the pole sitter's job, so that's down to me. So obviously, that's what you get. You know, I'll just have to make sure I get the start and go. So, yeah.
Lovely. Good. Right. So looking ahead to the Bradford World Final and considering there's been quite a few big incidents going into that turn 1, is a front row starting position ideal for the World Final race, bearing in mind what's happened in sort of previous meetings?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's nobody in the fence to stop.
Yeah, I think the track practically. The track's going to change a hell of a lot at Odsall between now and the World Final. It had to do. They're underway now, so obviously, you know, the surface is going to be completely different. So obviously, you watch about the videos back over the years, you know what I mean? Most World Finals, I wasn't very near the front at Odsall, but obviously, you know, there's no to say a big shove ain't going to come on. It depends who's second, third rows, obviously. If they don't think they're quick enough, they might be introducing you to the fence. But again, you've got to come off that fence and get back in there. So
Danny, you're spending a lot of time at Bradford these days. Are you thinking front row is the way to be?
I think so. There's a big push on the first bend. If you're hitting the fence, there's nothing to stop you rattling around and carrying on. Whereas 3rd or 4th row, there might be a car stuck in the fence that you're going to get ploughed into or something like that.
So I guess thinking about Bradford, then you've all mentioned you need top 3 in your semi-final. Do you think if you're further back than that, it's going to prove difficult to make an impression on the World Final at Bradford?
No, you can make an impression by pushing really hard.
yeah.
But yeah, I think there'll be a lot of yellers if it's been like it has been over the last few meetings. There'll be quite a few yellers, and you can make your way up the grid. But it depends if the unlap rule's still in and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, just don't go on the grass at Bradford. Bobby's knows about that. We keep mentioning it just in case you
Oh,
forget.
that was grass one, yeah. And he was he was very careful about it as well, was Bob, and he still got stuff.
I'm going to put my bill in for trimming the infield.
So and finally, we're not there yet, of course, but Tony, you've mentioned this already. Tom has been pretty dominant this year on share, won European at Northampton last weekend. With that in mind, I guess, assuming he qualifies from the Skegness semi-final, it must be a worry for you guys that actually you've got somebody who's really dominant at the minute. And how do you deal with that on share at a world final?
Take him out.
Yes. I mean, listen, that is my main focus to being in the top 2, really. Obviously, if Tom qualifies out the front at odds, so you're not going to fucking see him unless you get him. So you know what I mean? If you want to win,
I think Ryan's just as quick round Odsal.
Yeah.
If you want to win a world final, you've got to put him in. So that's what the aim of getting up there is. If you let him drive away off the front of there, nobody's going to see him. I mean, he didn't just win the European; he demoralised everybody in the European. It was embarrassing. So if he has that form come Odsal, then it needs stopping.
That's very honest of you to say that you kind of felt demoralised. Does everybody else kind of think that as well after the European weekends?
To be honest, I thought I got third because Lee won, Matty second, me third. With how we race each other now, we have fast Tom is.
Yeah.
We know we're going to get second, so it's second is first now.
But you must want to beat him, though. It must be like the goal. You want to be faster. You want to beat him, Tom, because you don't even win everything, do you? Surely.
No, obviously. Yeah, exactly. This is why when I get qualify up, start like behind him, side of him, and then you've got an impact on the race. You can have a race with him. If you start in a few rows back and he gets away and gone, you never see him. So you need to make that impact as soon as the flag goes down.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. And just kind of before we go, big race on Saturday, like we said, and it's all important about qualifying for the world final. Me and Danny are going to go and watch Love Island. Charlie might dip into it. Is everybody else busy kind of doing lots of prep on the cars this week? Is it like a lot of car maintenance for you?
I'm done and loaded. I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm finished.
Yeah, Matt missed the Grand National Saturday, so he's ready. Sunday.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've just been down Derby to pick everybody's tyres up, so I've got the tyres, and then obviously I need to try and sort the car out. So yeah, we've a bit to do yet, but we'll get there.
You're not there, Charlie. How about you? Not raced for a couple of weekends? Are you kind of been meditating, ready to go? Is that what you've been doing? Off to a monastery or something?
I'm pretty much there. It's more Dad because Dad's on about coming out of a place. So it's more about getting him ready because he hasn't been out. So that's what we're really doing at the minute, getting his car sorted. Is
he a bit concerned that you're showing him up?
I wouldn't say I'm showing him up on show quite yet, but I'm giving it a go.
Good. So Matt's ready.
Is the reason you haven't raced, Charlie, because you're scared of red top? Is it that reason, or?
Yeah, petrified.
Right.
I thought, we'll do a couple of meetings and we'll go back down again. So that was the plan.
You've only got one red wing between your shell and you and your dad, haven't you? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I've got 2 wings all sticking up and everything, and then I've gone back down again. So I was like, oh right, okay.
So have you never raced? You never raced from red then, have you, Charlie? That's right.
Yeah, I did Bradford and Sheffield.
Right, okay.
Had a load of bad luck, and then obviously missed it. I think I missed it by 3 points. So
you did, because you went in the fence with Josh Smith at Sheffield. I do remember that.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was off Matt. That was.
Matthew.
What, me? I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll just blame Frank for the start on that one. So we're all...
Yeah, Frank was a lap down, getting in the way.
Yeah.
We just well, before you go, you didn't let Danny pass though. Did you know it was where Danny was running second and you were holding him up at Sheffield?
When I was back down, if it had been fast enough, I'd have let him pass. But there was only Chris. Obviously, he wasn't coming past, was he? I mean, I let Tom pass, and then he's run out of petrol, so I don't know what they were talking about.
So just to finish, Bobby, are you ready for Saturday, or are you still busy doing? See, it's like my cat keeps coming past. Sorry, are you ready for Saturday? Are you all kind of sorted?
Tyre prep really. Get all them all sorted and rimmed up and buffed, and just make sure everything's right, and spanner check it, and yeah, a bit of paint probably and a bit of a polish, and we're there.
Paint, whatever's that.
Is that your list for Daz to do, Bobby?
He's just messaged that out to Daz now.
Yeah, I hope he's watching this video.
But it'll go out tomorrow night, so you might not give me enough time. I'm not sure. I don't know. Brilliant. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Giving a real insight to the semi-final and lots of other great stuff. So thank you very much for that. Good luck on Saturday. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we start, can Frank hear? And because I'm going to come to him first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Can you? Well, I can't hear what he says.
I can just.
Why can't you hear me then if just Jordan can?
Well, that's the guy, bro.
Ah, see you, Bobby.
Is
50.
Jordan, can you hear him seriously? Because I genuinely can't.
So why can't anybody else hear me if Jordan can?
No,
We can't abuse him, so we don't know what he's saying.
no.
Are you through your Bluetooth on your truck?
Jordan, please. What?
Are you through your Bluetooth on the truck?
Yes. Jordan can hear
Right,
me.
put him in the middle.
Obviously, It's working.
Matt's got 20 cars to fix, haven't you, Matt?
I've got Wreckfest match in a minute. Come on.
Very good. It's very well worded. It's very well planned. Does that make sense?
Has a sense.
Well, you all look thrilled, right? Like, what else would you do on a Thursday night other than watch Love Island in 20 minutes, like me and
Wednesday.
Danny?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Oh,
Is it Wednesday? I lose track. Thank you, Matt. Good.